Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mortgage Coach's beginning training class for EDGE. My name is Lytle, and I'll be hosting today's call. So what we're going to do today is just start understanding EDGE. This is the beginner course, so what we're going to do is take you through reading the report as well as going into EDGE, and we're going to create a report together. So make sure you have your login credentials. First, I want to launch a couple polls so we can see where you're at. So, Marcy, if you don't mind, let's go ahead and launch that first poll. So, everyone, I want to know if you have gone into EDGE and created a report. So, if you could go ahead and answer the poll question so we could see it. I don't see anyone responding to the poll questions. Do you, Marcy?
I show one response. 75% have voted that no, they have not had a chance to create a mortgage coach report.
Perfect, perfect. So great training class. This is where you're supposed to be. So let's go ahead and launch the second one. So we know the first one. So Marcy, if you want to go ahead and launch the second poll. And have you downloaded the mobile app? So this is another piece that we're going to talk about today. So let us know if you've downloaded the mobile app. Okay, great. So we're about a third of you have downloaded it, and the remaining haven't. So we'll walk through that process as well, and I'll be able to also show you how to download Rate Watch while we're going through it. So thank you so much, Marcy. I appreciate those poll questions. So what I'm going to do first is let's go ahead and discuss the mobile app. So this way you can follow along if you have a mobile app. You can go ahead and be able to follow along with that. So this is the mortgage app right now. So let me show you how you can download it. So I'm on an iPad. So on the mobile app, what you would want to do is go to your app store. So I'm going to my app store. And you'll see in the search, I have Mortgage Coach. So what I'd like you to do is just in the search engine, type in Mortgage Coach. And then with that search, you'll see that you're going to have two apps. You have the Rate Watch app, which is also part of your membership. This will provide you the mortgage-backed securities and how the movement is throughout the day. So you have the mobile app, as well as the EDGE viewer. So right now I'd like you to download the Mortgage Coach app here, and then we'll go ahead and work with it and bring up a report together. So you'll be able to see both the desktop as well as the mobile app version. So with that, what I'm going to do now is call up the Mortgage Coach app so you can see the two icons real quick. So while you're downloading the Mortgage Coach app, let me just take you into the Rate Watch. I think I might have to download it. So you'll have Rate Watch here, and it's not opening for me. Okay, we'll just move on to the Mortgage Coach app. So we'll open up the Mortgage Coach app here. And let me go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and make my mobile device smaller so you can see the desktop version as well. So first off, if you do have your mobile app, go ahead and click on it and get to this main screen right here. What I'm going to ask you to do is pull up the report we're viewing. And to do so, I'm going to give you a link. And what you could do is in this line here on the mobile app, you can see how I'm removing the link. I'm going to go ahead and read out the numbers. First of all, I'm going to copy my link, and I'm placing in the chat box. So if you want to go ahead and click on that link, you could go ahead and view it on your desktop, as well as if you have your mobile app using GoToMeeting, you could click on that. So what I'm doing is entering just the number after that TV in my app. So I'm going to enter 16H21Z, 21Z. So with the app, once you click on it, it automatically opens, but because we are just going to manually do it, all you need to do is just put in that number sequence and then press that arrow. So as I do so, you can see how it will go ahead and open the Mortgage Coach report. You'll see that it will open up with a disclaimer, and the borrower will go ahead and answer I understand. When you create a video, the video play will be one of the first items that will carry up, so you can see how you provide your message to the borrower and as well as the report. So what I'll do is the next step, what I want to do is explain the report. So this way you have a comfortable understanding of what you're going to create in Edge. And another thing, for those of you who have clicked on the link, what will happen is you're going to experience what the borrowers experience with Edge Live, in the sense of I'm going to be driving the report, and if you clicked on the link, you're going to see me driving the report on your screen. So it's a good learning curve experience for Edge Live, which we'll talk at the end of the call, and that's how you deliver the report to the borrower. One way I know if you're viewing the report, if you look in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see 17 viewers. That's letting me know that 17 people have clicked on that link and are viewing the report with me. This will allow you to know if the borrower has clicked on the report and is following along with you as well. And then if you have more than one viewer, you might have someone else viewing the report at the same time. So just want to be able to point that out. So now with our report, you can see on the desktop version, it's broken down into 4 quadrants. And the same on the mobile app. You have the summary, which is the upper left on the desktop, the monthly payment savings, you have your short-term savings in the lower left, and the long-term savings in the lower right. So let's review each of those sections quickly. We'll do another quick review after we create the report together. But in the summary section, you can see that it just provides all that basic information about your loan. You have your loan amount, interest rate, APR. You can see I'm also highlighting. That's an option you'd be able to do with the report. It's just left-clicking over the field, and it highlights. Left-click again, it removes it. You can also see why I'm talking on the report, that it's driving the report on the mobile app and highlighting just as where I'm highlighting on the desktop. If you've clicked it, it should be highlighting on your end as well. So that's what's driving the report, and that's how you talk to the borrowers. So just even you could discuss the payment stream, and you could go ahead and talk to them about different mortgage insurance and such. So you have that there. And then more info. That provides you quite a bit of information about the loan. So if you click on more info, you can see the payment breakdown. So you can see how you have the sales price if it's a purchase, or the equity if it's a refi. Just the P&I payment, so you can see the difference there. You can see your monthly costs as well as the difference between mortgage insurance. And then we also provide that total pity payment, so you'll be able to provide that. So you have the full payment breakdown in one of your tabs. Next tab is your closing costs. So you'll be able to provide them the down payment for their loan, what that LTV percentage is. And you see how we lump sum our fees. So you have your APR, non-APR, if you had points, upfront MI, things like that. But then if you click on the fee details, that's where you have all your itemized fees. So this way you'll be able to provide transparency. And when we go into Edge, we're going to talk about building fee templates to make this easy for you to just create that report. We also have a reinvestment strategy screen where you can apply additional principal towards your payment, additional amount towards your principal, and then it will provide you a new freedom point. So you have that and be able to talk to your borrowers and have that discussion. The next quadrant we have is just your monthly payment savings. So with that, you're going to see there's no graph on the FHA, and the reason for that, this is the highest cost loan. The conventional saving $82 over that FHA. And then when you dive into that more info button, you can see how there's all the details about that product. And then if you had a second lien, that information will also appear below that first. So this is just your payment, monthly payment breakdown. Then if we move to the lower left-hand side, this is your savings, short-term savings. So I'm choosing 60 months. This is a variable that I'm going to show you how you can work with, depending on your conversation with your borrower. So what is the short-term savings? What is the savings of $69.54 over that FHA? So let's go ahead and click on that more info, and let me go ahead and provide you the breakdown of that section. So you have your interest and mortgage insurance that we calculated over that 60-month period. Then we add the closing costs and points to that amount. This is the total cost of your loan, the unrecoverable costs. Once we total that amount, we then do the comparison, and that's your savings. If you're not familiar with the new forms that will be coming out in April, they do ask for the tip, the 5-year mark of how much interest and fees are paid during that time. So it's interesting, the correlation, so get familiar with that aspect. And lastly, we have our long-term savings, and this is just an overview of how much interest they paid. Again, that 5-year mark could be 15, could be 30. It's, again, a variable for you. So let's dive into the more info button, and you can see how we have the home value. There's a property appreciation rate field that we go, if you use it, it will go ahead and provide that information to you, as well as that ending loan balance at the end of that 5 years or whatever year you choose, how much equity they have, if they applied, how much principal they have paid to loan, and the full pity. So you have a lot of details in that button there as well. So what I'm going to do now is let's go ahead, and I'm turning off the mobile device. Whoops, I got my video here. Okay. Let's see, just one moment. Let me go ahead and try to clear out that one more time. Okay, just one moment. Okay, there we go, guys. Oh, got rid of that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and dive in and create a report together. So with that, I want you to log into Edge, which is edge.mortgagecoach.com. Put in your email address as well as your password. And I know we have a couple people from Prime Lending on the call. With the API with Optimal Blue, you can bring that data to Optimal Blue, and from this point forward, I'll be showing you all the different fields in Edge that you can modify and enhance that report. So go ahead and log in, and we come to our home screen. In our home screen, the upper area here, that's our client-facing reports. Those are the total cost analysis, is the rent versus own. And then the lower half is your partner-facing reports, the open house flyer and a seller buy-down. So you can reach those realtor partners and build relationships with them. So we have both areas here. We're going to focus on a total cost analysis today, and all the functions we're learning in this will also be used for your partner section as well. Before we move on, I also want to mention in GoToMeeting, open up your question area and ask any questions along the way. I will stop and explain it, so if you have a question, please place it in the question area, and we'll address it during the call. So we do have a settings tab up at the very top here. We're going to touch that at the end of the call, but this is where your contact information as well as uploading your image. If you have the help button, again, we'll cover this a little bit more at the end of the call, but the help button will bring you to our knowledge base where we have video tutorials and a search engine and things like that that can assist you creating a report. So to start off, let's start, and by doing so, we're going to click on New Client. If you're doing an open house flyer, you would go ahead and start that by clicking on New Partner. And can I see a raise of hands of all those who are going to be following along and creating a report with me in their Edge account? If you could go ahead and do that and just raise your hand. Perfect. We've got a couple of you. If I tend to go too fast, just tell me to slow down. But I encourage you, those who are not creating the report, get in Edge just to be able to go through all the areas that we go through and just touch the fields, get familiar with it. So let's click on New Client. And so we're starting the process off. And again, if you're used Optimal Blue and carried your data down, you'll have data already filled in here. And you would have seen your file on the front end. But we have 8 wizards screens right here to go through. Minor data, the first 4 is just collecting data. There's maybe about 5 fields you have to input, so it's really quick to go through. Then we're going to create our products. I'm going to show you the analysis screen where you can customize the report in the short-term, long-term, as well as where you can add additional principal through the reinvestment screen, contact information, and then we'll go to the very end and I'll show you how to place that video as well as grabbing the link through presentation. So with that, what we're going to do is just key in just basic information. So I'm just putting in the name Sammy Sample. You can put whatever name if you're following along. If you have a co-borrower, you have that field as well. And then you could go ahead and place in a phone number here. Not required, but if you do, it will go ahead and also print on our email alerts that I'll show you just shortly on that. If own and rent, what these 2 buttons will do is provide the different report styles. The TCA is own, and the rent is the rent versus own report. Partner email address, if you have a partner that you would like to have an email alert, you could place their address in this area, or if you have a loan processor or an assistant that would want to receive those alerts, place their email address in there. And this is what an email alert looks like. With an email alert, as soon as they close the report out, an alert is generated. It will tell you who the report's for, how long they looked for it. They have a link that will click to the presentation, familiarize yourself with it. If you keyed in a phone number, it would appear here as well. So that's the importance of the phone number. You would have it all right there to reach out to your clients to discuss the report and answer any questions. So this is an email alert, and you will receive it as well as anyone in this partner area, and I'll show you in presentation how you'll be able to click on it for them to receive that email. And lastly, on this screen, we have a friendly name field. This is a reference name. We do have a copy function, so you'll be able to determine what report this is for Sammy Sample. So if you're doing refinances or they have investment homes, this is just a quick way of doing a copy. And it's great for the open house flyers. I usually put the street address in here. Identify what street for that realtor. Again, that copy function makes reports quite easy to create. So I'm going to advance the screen, and I'm coming to our goals. In our goal screen, I'm just going to mark purchase a new home. If you're a refinance, you can gather the data here on the refinance, and then you can move on. When you move on left and right, those are your save buttons, and it will save your data as you go carry along. So always remember to advance screen before you exit the report. So now we're in our assumptions. So with this, let's go ahead and do a $250,000 sales price. And with those other fields, they're for refinances. And with that, on Thursday training calls we have each Thursday at 9 o'clock, we really dive into different types of loan scenarios and any kind of questions you may have. And that, a lot of times we do cover refinances on there. So just jump on one of those calls. So I also wanted to point out, you'll see this field in red. So what I did is remove my dollar amount. As soon as I advance the screen, you'll notice down in the ribbon there's an exclamation mark. And with that, that's letting me know that I have a field in red that is empty. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my sales price again, and then I'm going to move on. In the affordability section, I'm going to explain these 2 screens for you. They're not necessary to fill out for a report, but I'm going to provide you that information so you can determine how to build out your EDGE report. So we have $95,000 as our, $950,000, $95,000 as our gross income. You do have a credit status, and the way EDGE was designed is to take this data over the phone. So this way you could gather this information. We don't run credit, so if you don't want to go through the drop-down, that's fine. It's just be able to provide that information. Let's say their non-mortgage debt is $500 a month, and if you fill out this information, when you go to the products, that will provide you a debt-to-income ratio. So if you want to be able to determine that, put this information in. It doesn't print on the report, but it provides you a glimpse. So we'll look at that when we get to the products. Next, I want you to put in $25,000 as your savings balance at 0.25. We'll come back and talk about our savings balance when we get to our analysis screen. And then lastly, if you want to show the tax benefit to the borrower, you could go ahead and place in the tax benefit in this line. If you don't know what that tax benefit would be or the percentage, just click on Find Tax Bracket, and it will take you to a web page, an IRS page that will provide that information. And if you're doing MCC tax credits, we do have the capability of providing that as one of your loan options. So you could do a comparison with and without to show that advantage of the MCC tax credit. Moving to the next screen, we just more data of collecting from the borrower. If you want to fill it in, that's great, but I'm just moving on. So now we're in our products. So this is where we're going to go ahead and start building our different loan comparisons. But in our first 4 screens, just to go over it, client was name that we entered, goals, marking it a purchase, assumption was the sales price, and then at that point, all you had to do is go to product. So it is quite simple, only a few fields that are needed for the report. So now what we're going to do is build an FHA product. So I'm going to put in a title of FHA, 3.5% down. And for those of you who are working with the Optimal Blue API, the title will carry over, but usually it has the investor names, and we need to keep this to 12 characters. So usually you could just remove that investor name, and you should be okay with your label. Moving through, for those of you who are on enterprise accounts, and can you raise your hand because we have a couple options in our products I want to be able to dive into. If you know you're on an enterprise account, can you raise your hand for me? Okay, I don't see anyone on this. Okay. What you would want to do is, if you're on an enterprise account, use the drop-down and select a product. You can see that you might have some FHA products created. If you're working with Optimal Blue and carrying that data over, do not use your template because you would override the data from Optimal Blue. Upfront premium, we're doing an FHA, so select FHA. And then let's go ahead and put in that $250,000. Whoops, I'm not typing that amount today at all. There we go. Next, click on that percentage button. You have the option to put a dollar amount for your down payment, or if you click on that percentage button, it opens up a percentage field. You can click on, type in 3.5%, and it calculates the amount for you as well as provide the base loan amount. So let's put 3.875 as the interest rate and the term of 360. When we create our product templates, the term, the down payment, the FHA marker will all be defaulted for you. So all you'll have to do is come in and place that interest rate in there. So now as we move to the next screen, I want you to point out the upper right-hand corner. You'll start seeing that the graphs are being built. So this is just our straight P&I because we have not gone to the monthly amounts yet. And then below that, you'll see the DTI as well as the loan-to-value ratio. So this is where that information does carry over if you use that affordability screen. So now let's go ahead and talk about fees. First, by marking it as an FHA, we have our upfront MIP field. So click on that percentage and put 1.75. This also will be part of your default, so I want to point that out. So upfront MI. Place in 15 days for prepaid interest or whichever amount your company requires, either 15 days or 30. Some I've seen 5. And the next I want to point out the points field. You can put in a negative amount here, and it will go ahead. People use this for the rebate field. If you're working with Optimal Blue, this figure will carry over as well for you. Just want to point that out. And then there's 2 ways of doing fees. You can either do lump sum fees, just put in all your APR costs, non-APR costs, as well as your prepaid escrows, your monthly amounts. That's one way of doing the fees. The other way is to build closing cost templates. And so that's what we're going to walk through right now. So with this, you do have availability of making fee templates based on state, if you originate in multiple states. And then you'll have your fee templates in the drop-down in the upper right-hand corner. If you're on the enterprise account, you'll see your fee templates here. Go ahead and select one. We're going to start from scratch so I can show you how to build a template. When we do our conventional product, I will show you how to pull down a fee template and show you how you can modify it and make it custom for yourself. So to start this process out, we have, the easiest way is to get fee cost sheets from your LOS. The fee cost sheet will go ahead and provide you the description of your fee, the dollar amount, as well as if it's an APR or not. So that's a good way. I usually suggest a conventional FHA and a VA. We also have a copy function, so once one's in there, it's really quick to make the other fee templates. So you'll see two green buttons, Add Fee, Add Custom Fee, and right above that is a blue bar that will provide your totals and a running total as you add your fees. You can see that it's starting with the 15 days prepaid interest that the borrower is going to pay. So click on Add Fee, and you'll click on it a couple times. You'll see that we now have a line item, and in the drop-down you'll have your fee descriptions. You'll have a field for a percentage, and you can add an additional dollar amount to that percentage. So if you have a padding you want to be able to show, it will total that amount in the column. You can identify if the borrower, seller, or lender will pay the fee, if the fee is an APR. If you're doing refinances, you have the option to add it to the loan amount. And the last column here is PPE, which represents prepaid escrow. So that's not a cost of the loan, so we want to exclude it from the short-term savings. So now let's go ahead and enter our processing fee. So I click on the down arrow, type the letter P, and go ahead and follow along with me. You can always delete this fee template later, but it gives you the keystrokes and understanding of how to create it. So I'm choosing processing fee, which is an APR fee. I'm putting $4.95, and I'm marking it as APR. So you can see how quick and easy and simple building these fee templates are. So say if I have a non-APR fee, an appraisal fee is a good one. So go find my appraisal fee and put in that dollar amount, and I'm leaving it not marked as APR. So now you know how to key in an APR, non-APR fee. But what if your description doesn't match in the drop-down? We do have the capability of adding a custom fee. So it'll bring you a new dialog box, which you would want to go ahead and type in the name of the fee. So I'm just putting in custom fee. You have the option to take that percentage on the loan amount or the property sales value. So if you're working with doc stamps or things like that, you might want to determine which the percentage will be calculated from. And you can mark it as either a default prepaid or an APR fee. Once I press OK, that custom fee is now in my drop-down list. So you'll be able to use it for any future files, and you don't have to create it again. So you got your custom fee, and then I would just go ahead and then place in that dollar amount. So we have a custom APR, non-APR. So now let's talk about contributions. So we have in our fees, we do have one labeled contribution. So I'm clicking on Add Fee. And in my drop-down, I'm typing C, and we have the label contribution. We have logic tied behind this particular field where I'm able to say I had a $500 contribution. You'll notice in that blue area, the borrowed paid amount is $1,860. As soon as I tab off the 500, you notice it goes ahead and reduces that amount. So that's showing you the logic that is tied behind that fee label. Next, you have the option if the lender or seller are paying that fee. So you can go through the drop-down and select it that way. Sometimes if you don't want to use that label as a contribution and want to create your own custom fee, that's fine, but because there's no logic, you have to work a little bit backwards. So let's show you how that's done. If I clicked on custom fee, let's say earnest money. I want to show you this one because if they did have money and you wanted to be able to show it, This, it's not a cost of loan, so you would want to mark it as a prepaid escrow fee, so it's not part of that short term. Click OK, and then you could go ahead and place in that amount, but when you place that dollar amount, it needs to be a negative. And the reason for it is because there's no logic. You want to offset the borrower costs by a negative amount. So we'll continue to reduce that figure, but keep it to the borrower and have it as a negative. So that's only when you do a custom fee for a contribution. So to remove that field, what I'm doing is just pressing the trash can, and it removes that line item from your fee template. So now lastly, in the lower left-hand corner, there's a Save As button. Go ahead and click on that, and you can build your first fee template. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in fees, and I'm putting in today's date. So you'll be able to see that this is the template I created today. And if you originate in multiple states, just go ahead and identify the state in the drop-down. So once I press OK, you'll see that your fee template is now saved in the drop-down. Once you're completed with your fees, just press Apply to Loan, and it totals those dollar amounts and brings them over to your closing costs, non-closing costs, and you'll see the fields are grayed out. To edit them, just go back into that closing cost detail, modify your fees. Always remember Apply to Loan. Now that we're done with our fees screen, let's go ahead and work with our monthly costs. And then we're done with setting up a product. We went a little bit slower, but that's the process of creating the field. But as these templates, you build them, it's going to go quicker and quicker. So what I'm doing is opening up my percentages, and I'm putting in 0.35 for my hazard insurance and 0.125 for my taxes. You'll see that it calculated the monthly amounts. If you want to do an estimate on just a whole dollar, you could do that as well. So just go ahead and place it as a dollar amount. So either or, you have that option. And this would be part of your template as well if you're creating product templates. Now in our mortgage insurance line, so we're doing an FHA, 3.5% down, so the MI is 0.85. And this is important. You want to make sure you mark Calc MI on balance. That will provide the FHA calculation routine. And the MI cutoff month, so let's go ahead and put in 360. This will take our MI for the life of the loan, and when we talk to the conventional products, I'll talk to you more about the cutoff month and the percentage. Next, you want to collect 2 months reserves and 4 months taxes and 12 months premium. So that's one product. We're going to go ahead and set up the conventional product now. And again, if you have any kind of questions, place them in the chat box. But before we move on, let's save this as a template. See the gray button here? Click on that. You'll see the title carries over. I'm placing in today's date. You don't need to do that. It's, again, just so you'll be able to see my templates. So now let's start the second product with Add Another Product, the green button lower right. And we're going to start this process again. So let's label this one as a conventional product. And it's not an FHA or VA, but for those of you who do single premium MI, we do have the option to do single premium in this as well. So let's go ahead and put in $250,000, and I'm putting in 5% down, 4% as an interest rate, and 360 as a term. Once you have keyed in that information, let's go ahead and move right to the next field. And again, take note, you'll have a graph now and more information in that area. You'll see how we didn't mark it as FHA. There's no upfront MI in this field, but let's go ahead and put in our 15 days prepaid interest and click on the closing cost details. So instead of creating a fee template from scratch, I'm going to show you how to modify it. So if you're on an enterprise account and have access to fee templates, what you can do is pull the fee template down, just as I had done, and make your modifications. So in this case, maybe it's only $450 was my processing fee, and I might have a tax service, so I'm going to add a fee. So now that I brought down the fee template, you can modify it, add fees, and then you could save it. So this is a quick way of building templates as well. So if I click on Save as Template, and I'll do conventional fees, and press OK. And now I have my second fee template within my drop-down. So that's how quick and easy. And in the settings, you can modify and create more templates rather quickly with a copy button. So you have that option there. And if so with that, once I created my template, let's apply to loan. So now let's move on to our monthly cost screen. Open those fields up, key in our information here. And our MI is 0.66. So now the MI cutoff percentage and cutoff month. So the way these two work, so if you had a policy that has 24 months minimum of MI, you place that in there. Just like FHA, minimum is 360. Once it hits the 25th month, it then starts looking for the percentage. And if the LTV has reached 78%, the MI will be dropped from the loan. So that's how those two fields work together. So let's put in 2 months hazard, 4 months taxes, and collect a 12-month premium. You can key in up to 4 products. For today's call, we're going to stop at 2 and move to our analysis screen. In our analysis summary, this is where you can customize your report. You see we have the property appreciation rate. I have in there 3. You would want to put in what's good for your area. You can even place 0 if you do not want to show that property appreciation on the report. Short term, how is mentioning on the short term savings, it automatically defaults to 60 months. If you know the borrower might be moving in 4 years, you could go ahead and place that number of months in that field and show them a true snapshot of the time they're going to be in that home. So you could go ahead and extend, maybe it's 7 years until the children graduate. You could show them that area as well. So I'm going to go ahead and place it back at 60. And you can see each time I change those numbers, the number went ahead and recalculated. You could do the same with the long term. So it's currently at 15. If I wanted to show the full term, I could do that, as well as if I want to bring it down to 10 years. So you can show them the short term as well as the long term benefits of owning a home. You'll see in the long term, you have the option to show total interest in MI. You have the option as well as showing net worth, and this is good when you use the reinvestment strategy screen, and total principal paid. And when you work with Edge Live, you can change these and it will reflect on the report. So you can still hold those conversations even though your initial report when you send it is only marked as interest in MI. So now let's click on the Adjust Reinvestment Strategy screen. I'm not going to dive into this really deeply. We do have a great video tutorial, and we discuss this on our Thursday trainings and other trainings we do have. But you'll be able to, in the reduction payment line, you can go ahead and show the borrower if they apply $100 toward principal, that their term will be reduced. They have a new freedom point, a little less than 26 years. You can also add, if they wanted to try to pay it off like a 15-year term, you'd be able to provide them the dollar amount to be able to guide them through that. So that's your adding amount toward principal. If you double-click on the field, you could reinvest mortgage insurance as well as lump sum payment. So there's a lot you could do within that field here. Savings balance, when we key that in, this is where it carries over. So you'll have a starting balance, and then we'll provide the cash to close. And this way you can see if they have enough money to come to the table with that cash to close. You can enter your monthly savings and build a savings account as well as an investment account. You'll be able to show them that as well. So we have those options in our reinvestment strategy button. So now let's move to the next. We're in our contact information. You could just go ahead and fill in this information. You can always put in a label if you don't have an address or just to be determined and be able to apply it that way. Next, we have total cost analysis. You'll see your boxes here for FHA and conventional. If you don't want to show a report on a product on the report, just unmark it, and that removes it from the report, and only the FHA would show. So that's how you can remove a product from the report. And lastly on this screen is payment notes. So if you're on an enterprise account, these notes probably carry down for you, and if not, you'd want to type something like estimated taxes and insurance are included in your payment. And this is a compliance piece that is on the report. So go ahead and type that in, and then we'll go ahead and advance our screen. Now we're coming to just review of the presentation. We're done keying in our data. You can either advance 2 more times to get to the very end of the screen, or hover your mouse over presentation and choose preview. That will also take you to the very last page of the data screen. So we do have the option to print and save, but both those options are within the link. So stick with the link. You get your email alerts as well as being able to make updates to the report without having to resend anything. This is have this marked if you want to receive the email alert. And if you want your partner to receive the email alert, mark that box and they'll start receiving that email alert as well. Now with the quote date, just click on that calendar and place in your quote date so you have that on your report. And now let's go ahead and do a preview. Let's take a look and see what that report looks like. So you can see how it's side by side, just comparing the FHA and the conventional products. Highlighting, so if you did the report, just go to the field, take your mouse over it. You'll see that it's outlined in the cells outlined in blue, and then left click. You can also click on the title and it highlights the whole column as well. So you'll be able to do that. So now let's go back to Edge and let's show you how you could place a video on here. And then we're going to go ahead and discuss the report a little bit further. So I'm clicking on Generate Link. When you click on Generate Link, it provides you a unique link for the report. So let me go ahead and place that one in the chat box as well, if you want to click on that and follow along. So now how to add video. So you'll see the button right here, Add Audio, Video. As soon as I click on that, a report is going to display. Same report we've been looking at. And then in the lower left-hand corner, you have Record Message. So if you click on that, you'll see that the camera box displays. Hi everyone, I'm Lori. With this is where you want to be able to provide your message. So you want to be able to have good eye contact, so look at the camera or directly to the camera. And when you're looking at it, a lot of people, it's easy just to start looking at the report. You can see, there's no eye contact. So remember, look straight ahead. This is where you want to introduce yourself. If you haven't met them before, it's a great introductory piece. Reach out to the realtor, same thing, you're introducing yourself. Provide a little bit of information about your background. Then discuss a report. With this, it was great. I watched a video the other day of a loan officer, and it was great. She talked about the credit that she was modifying it, discussed the loan products. She was in and out in a minute, 40 seconds, and it had a lot of information, and she was very comfortable. So just remember, you know the conversation. Just place it on the video. You have about 5 minutes to be able to do a video, but the shorter it is, it's better. Again, having a video on the report, when it's shared, you're giving the same consistent message from husband to wife. So it's very important to place that video on here. So if you look at the base of that screen, you have the record button. So if you click on that, you'll see that it's recording. Then you have your play button, a way to go ahead and pause it while you're recording. You can go ahead and pause it, and then you can start recording again. So you have that as well, and then you also have a trash can. If you want to remove the video, you can go ahead and press the trash can and it gets removed. And if you don't have a video, a camera right away, go ahead and click on Record Audio. It might automatically come up. Record Audio will still allow you to place a message without the video, but it's definitely have that message on the report. So let's go ahead and stop it, and we're done there. So make sure it's great to be able to add that audio and video to your reports. It's very important to be able to provide that consistent message. Going back to Edge, now let's work with Edge Live a little bit more. So with the Edge Live, you could also do this with the preview button on the previous page. And you'll notice that Edge Live, it's the same report as well. So my video automatically comes up. I'm going to the share button, and I'm copying that link. Press OK. And let's do a side-by-side on Edge Live. So what I'm doing is taking a tab, and if the borrower clicked on the link, it would go ahead and automatically direct them to the App Store, and then it would ask them to download that app, and then click on it again, and they'll be able to view the report. So let me take these reports side by side, and this is a great way for you to be able to see Edge Live in action. The one thing I do see, okay, I'm pressing I understand. And there's the video, so I'm closing out the video. Also, they could go ahead and minimize the video, and you'll see that there's a play message button. So they could click on that, and the message will come back up. So with this right now, I have one viewer viewing the report with me, which is me. It's my report on the right-hand side. This is the borrower's copy. Your copy is on the left-hand side. That's the borrower's copy. And a quick way of seeing, knowing which one is yours and which one's the borrower's, is the Clear All button. The Clear All button allows you to clear out the highlights on the report, but the borrower does not have that option. They also do not have an option to highlight anywhere on the report or make any changes to the numbers. So with that, so you can see it side by side, and if you're on a mobile device, you can see it's being driven on the mobile device as well. So you can see how you can highlight and really drive that conversation, discuss that monthly payment breakdown, and you can see on the right-hand side that it's just driving the report with the borrower. So you'll be able to really have that conversation and point to the areas and answer any type of questions with the borrower. And a great way to be able to do that, either find someone in your office or a friend, send them the link, have them open it, and just discuss the report with them and have them follow along. So that's a great learning tool. Also having it side by side, if you have two monitors, that's another quick, easy way to be able to learn Edge Live. Now let's go back to Edge. I'm going to go ahead and close out my Generate Link button. And what I want you to do is click on Home. You'll see your file is now just listed on the home screen. You would just double click on it to continue. If you want to go back into it, you just double click and it will take you back into the report. And next I want to point out first the View All button. For those of you who are using OB, if you don't see your file that carried over on the home screen, click View All. You do have an option to search for your files, but if I leave it empty, all your files will display. And this is where you also have a copy function. So if you click on the arrow, the gray down arrow, you'll see the files for that particular borrower or what you might have. So if I look, go further down here, like a Charlie Brown file, I have a purchase transaction there. On the right-hand side, it provides you that information. It allows you to add an analysis, which is just a contact information, only carries over. Great for realtors, creating the open house flyers, or a copy. So you can sit there and copy it and create a second report. It also asks you if you want to copy it to a new client, or if you have a great report you want to use product-wise, you could copy it and all that information into a new record, into a new client. You see the word purchase right here. That's that friendly name field in the goals section to help you identify it next to the date and timestamp. Now let's move to our settings button. This is where your contact information is. So review your contact information. If anything in the gray area that needs changing in the gray area, just email us at support and we'll make that modification. MLS number, it's very important that you put the identifier in front of that number because it does print in the upper right-hand corner, and you want to make sure they know what that number represents. Confirm your address is correct. Any changes here, just press Save in the lower right-hand corner. Images. This is where you want to make upload your image. You just press Browse and then do a select for your image and upload it here. Same with your logo. If you're on my enterprise account, most likely your logo did carry down for you. But just browse and upload both those because they're on the top part of your report. Fee templates. This is where when you create fee templates, this is where you could review them, modify them. So you can see the ones that I have created today is listed right here. You could go ahead and say if the fee had changed, just make the update in this area in your settings. If you wanted to remove a fee, you could do so in this area. I want to point out the lower left-hand corner, there's a fees button. That is your custom fees, so if you want to make any changes either to the percentage, how it's calculating, or just to the title itself, you could do it in that fees button. And the Save As button is your copy function. So if you have one product already set up, if you copy it, say I want a VA template, you can easily make that copy and modify and add fees, and now you have a new template. So that's how easy it is to create new ones, and there's also, if you want to start from scratch, the button New. Now with your product templates, you see all the product templates I have over in this area here. And with that, like for the FHA template, you can see how 3.5, 15 days prepaid interest carried over. I'm removing my interest rate because I like being able to make sure I put in the right rate. Upfront MI, your 2 months reserves, 4 months taxes, and premium carryover. If I click on my monthly costs, you see how all the monthly costs carry over. There is a dollar amount. It will override when you use your template, but if you want to clean it up, you could go ahead and do so. Press OK. And then also my closing costs are tied to, with this. If you originate in multiple states, you might want to use the drop-down instead of having it tied to the product template. If that's the case, just press the trash can, and it removes all those fees, and then you can just use the template when you go into Edge. But to show you the importance of the template, let me just start a new loan. Let's go to Products and put in a purchase price of $250,000. Now let's go ahead and bring in that FHA product that I had just done, $315,000. You'll see the 3.5%, the term carried over. So all I'm doing is putting in my interest rate. I advance my screens, my upfront carried over, as well as my 15 days prepaid interest. I would come up to my closing cost details. You'll see my reserves are already here. Pick my template, make any modifications or add fees. Once I'm done, I apply it to the loan. And now when I go to my monthly cost, that screen's all filled out. So just to be able to show you how quick it is, if you don't have an API where you're carrying the data over, build the templates. You'll be in and out when you create a report. It goes rather quickly. And next, go ahead and click on Help. This takes you to our knowledge base, and in our knowledge base we have many video tutorials. So you can see there's one down here on the reinvestment strategy screen. Featured walkthrough, so you can build certain specific reports, FHA, refi purchase. Quick reference links. We have our events calendar. This provides further training as well as our coaching calls, a description of all our coaching calls for the month. I also want to point out scripting in our coaching call archives. So if you click on scripting, if you're not quite sure on what to present to the client, here's some scripts that we have provided. So if we go to the top, you have the top one right here. It just talks about the mortgage coach experience with the borrower as well as the realtor. How to position yourself with the client. Here's some emails that you'll be able to send out. So we have some templates for you. Same with the realtor, reaching out to realtors and building new business. Here's a few more examples of your scripts that you can use. And then I want to point out the video. So here's a video review checklist. You have your core questions. Did you mention the borrower's name, referral sources, items like this, and then to analyze your video. So we have that, and that is in our knowledge base, and then you get that by help and clicking on scripts. And then lastly, if we click on coaching call archive, if you haven't already, we have Tuesday coaching calls with the leading expert in the industry, along with Dave Savage, our CEO. You can click on that and join those calls. Training Thursday, it's great to be able to advance your training and knowledge of EDGE. So sign up for the Training Thursdays that, and we'll show different scenarios. We ask any kind of questions that you want to see in EDGE. If you want to build a certain scenario, let us know, and we can do that on our Thursday trainings. And this is where we host all our coaching call archives. Today's beginner course will be also posted here once we're done converting. But you can see Thursdays, yesterday, we covered our training was on video and scripting and using EDGE Live. Tuesday, we had a coaching call with Tom Ferry on video and mobile with the realtor. So we have a lot of information here for you to access, and that's through our help button in our settings, and it's our knowledge base. So with that, we're wrapping up the call. If you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the question area. I'm going to stay on for a couple more minutes, so if you do have some questions, go ahead and place them in there, and I'll answer them for you. But remember, if you have any kind of questions, email us at support@mortgagecoach.com, and we'll assist you, get your answer right back to you. So thank you for your attendance today, and get back into EDGE and build a report. And remember how, if you have any questions, go ahead and reach out to support@mortgagecoach. Joyce, the Optimal Blue integration we have are for enterprise accounts because it's a lot of work in building that account to offer it to everyone. But if you want more information about that, why don't you email us at support? We can provide that to you, and it's a great integration because 4 products carry over. You actually just go in EDGE and you key in just your fees, unless your company has fees in Optimal Blue, and all that data carries down. It's an incredible API, and I know I have some people from Prime on this call who have access, and it makes it quite easy, and it's great. So, thank you for the question. Okay, I don't see any other questions coming in, so thank you again for attending. Let us review your report, send us the link. We'll be able to provide you our feedback, and just get into EDGE, get comfortable with it, and you'll find out the more reports you do, it's just going to become second nature. So thank you, everyone. Enjoy your Friday.